Welcome into another episode of the Armchair Titans podcast. Austin Nelson here with my guys, Brett Batchelor, Noah McKay, and Trey Watkins. And again, Elijah cannot make it because he's on baby duty. So, Elijah, if you're listening, man, we miss you. Come back soon and bring little Mariota with you. But you are listening to the Armchair Titan podcast. We appreciate you listening. Again, follow us on Twitter at Armchair Titan Up. Like us on Facebook, Armchair Tennessee Titans, and then hit subscribe and follow us on iTunes or wherever you're listening from. First and foremost, as always, we want to make sure if you're betting with anybody, make sure you're betting with MyBookie. MyBookie is the only place to go to bet. Whether you bet on the Titans, other NFL teams, your college teams, whatever it may be, make sure you are going to mybookie.com. Again, for every dollar you deposit, they will match your dollar. So if you put in $100, they're going to give you $100 for free. So it's $200 to play with. Just use the promo code TITANS to activate that code. TITANS, and you'll get that free money. So look, we kind of did a recap on Sunday afternoon. We were just in shock. We just kind of Brett, you weren't here, but all three of us just kind of looked at each other and didn't know what to say after the game because we were just in shock. We didn't expect anything like that. One, you can't expect delays like that. Nobody would have ever predicted that. But just to see the Titans, the injuries that happened, the poor officiating, the poor all-around game as it was no fun to watch. So we'll kind of get your just recap on the game on Sunday.
So pretty much for my location that I was in on Sunday, I was not able to watch the game, but I listened to the whole thing on Titans radio, and honestly, it was as least amount of fun as it was for y'all watching it. So honestly, I'm glad that I was not able to watch it, but just kind of sitting where I was, just listening to the whole thing, it just kind of seemed like no matter what the Titans did, something else was going to happen to contradict what they just did. So, like Derrick Henry's 62-yard touchdown run brought back by a holding. And then we scored a touchdown, and then Jakeem Grant, again, returns a kick back against the Titans for a touchdown for the second time in his career, by the way. Returns a kick back, and then Darius Jennings returns one right back. But it didn't really matter because Miami had already extended on their lead that the Titans had just cut in half. So it's just one of those days where just whatever the Titans did wasn't going to be enough. And honestly, it's a day that everybody's like super glad with it. I mean, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad that's behind us. It sucks that you started the season off 0-1 now to a team that you could have easily beat. But it is what it is. You kind of have to move forward now. So we fast forward to Houston now, division rival at home. It's kind of nice to have your first home game against a team that I guess is better than you by the people outside of Nashville and media and whatnot. So to play a team like the Texans at home on Sunday to start the season in your home is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. I know I'll be there. I think we'll all be there, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll have to meet up and do a live thing. But I'm excited, first and foremost, to see a couple guys back. Now, there's a lot of injuries this past Sunday, but you're going to get guys, most likely, it's not 100% yet, but it's looking up for Harold Landry, for Rashaan Evans, for Derek Morgan will play, and then ultimately the one guy we want to see out there is Marcus Mariota. So I think all four of those guys play, which is nice. The only guy that is still up in the air we're not sure about yet is Taylor Lewan. He's been in and out of the practice facility, but Vrabel has sent him home just to rest and sleep because that concussion protocol is it's no joke. So you get those guys back, it's a plus. Anytime you get the best guys on the field, whether they're a rookie or not, Noah, you need your best guys out there. So what are you excited to see for on Sunday?
Oh man, I'm so excited to see Deshaun Watson join the honor roll because Honor/Harold Landry I think is gonna feast. I'm more excited about Harold Landry than Rashaan Evans, and that's saying something because I think Rashaan Evans can be really good, but I think he has the potential to be like an elite pass rusher in this league. And we always talk about his bend, and I literally don't think it can be overhyped how ridiculous this kid is when he gets on the edge and just torches past people. And the reason I'm really excited this week is because the Texans' offensive line is bad. I went back and watched the Patriots-Texans game, condensed game, and like the Patriots' defensive front is not anything to write home about, and they were getting a great push. And Watson was under duress all day. So you throw Harold Landry, Brian Arakpo, and then a blitzing Rashaan Evans at him. I think it could be a long day Deshaun Watson is going to have to show those legs that we all know about. He's going to have to show them off because I'm really excited to see Harold Landry against that offensive line.
Trey, what you think?
Yeah, Trey.
Oh, okay. Well, the most thing I'm excited about to see is how this offense will rebound. Because before that Marcus Mariota injury, he was looking all right. After that injury, just all went down the shreds. So I'm looking to see how he bounces back. I'm looking to see how that whole offense bounces back this week after losing Delanie Walker for the season.
Yeah, Delanie, we got to talk about this, guys. Delanie Walker out pretty much for the season, we think. He's designated for return possibly, but I don't think any of us think
his ankle's done.
That's not happening. But I got a question. Brett, do you know the tight end for the Los Angeles Rams? I mean, it's hard to we think it through, like we can figure it out, but it doesn't pop in your head. And I bring that up to say, yes, Delanie Walker is a huge part of the offense. He's Marcus Mariota's safety blanket, is his favorite target. But this offensive scheme does not revolve around the tight end. If this was last season, losing Delanie Walker would be like, okay, this offense is parked now. But the good part about this scheme with this injury is the offense doesn't revolve around the tight end. It revolves around 3 receiver sets. Now, they could have used Delanie as a wide receiver in those sets, but still, that's not the focal point of this offense. So it's not as, drastic of this is the end of any sort of offense for the Titans as it would have been in previous years this year under this regime.
Well, that's kind of like what Jonnu Smith said, too, because Jonnu said, look, Delanie's my guy. He's the number one here. But if I wasn't prepared for this situation, then I wouldn't be here in the first place. So that kind of goes to props of showing the reps that Jonnu has put in, saying, look, I know Delanie's the number one here, but I am ready because I've always prepared for if this guy goes down and I have to be the number one, I know that I can do it. And that's kind of what he said in the post-game pressure on Sunday and in practice throughout this whole week.
Yeah, but Delanie was that security blanket for Marcus that whole game. Well, not the whole game, but the time he was healthy during that Miami game. I can count out plenty of times where I know the offense doesn't feature tight ends that greatly. But Marcus relies on Delanie to be that safety blanket whenever he has hesitancy about any of his wide receivers out there on the boundary or in the slot. So I still think it's a big loss, but like Noah said, this offense doesn't revolve around the tight ends, and the receivers are going to have to step up.
And you talked about him using Delanie. I saw him using Dion Lewis as a safety blanket even more than Delanie on Sunday, and thankfully Dion Lewis is still here. So he still has a safety blanket there that he can dump it off to. But the real focal point now that we're all going to have to pay attention to is Corey Davis, because those targets got to go somewhere, and the logical place for those targets to go is Corey Davis. And we've been talking about all offseason, Corey Davis, it's just time to be the number one wide receiver. And he was the number one wide receiver last week on the stat sheet, didn't get into the end zone. And there was a few times where, again, just like last season, Mariota makes a throw, and as soon as it misses wildly, and you go, well, what just happened? Oh, Corey Davis was running the wrong route, or was running a different route than Mariota expected him to. And these are things that we were supposed to have fixed with the full offseason. They're going to have to fix it real quick now that Delanie's gone.
That's what I'm looking forward to. The part that I'm looking forward to this Sunday is somebody that's not even on the injury report anymore. And we've talked about it on the show. I've always been a huge opponent of Rashard Matthews, and he didn't play much last week. And Mike Vrabel says part of bringing him back from the injury, making him more, I guess, used to the offense. And that's why I think that putting him in more plays this week will help open up the offense more because it gives Marcus more weapons to throw to, minus Delanie. But you got Dion, Rashard, and Corey now to throw to, Derrick Henry as well. So you bring Rashard back in and throw him into this offense. You can put him on those undercut routes and let Corey just run deep down the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, Taywan too, though. I mean, I wonder what this game would have looked like Sunday if Taywan would have caught that touchdown pass.
Yeah.
It was oh, my God, it was such a beautifully thrown ball.
Yep.
It was such a tough catch, and people just want to, criticize Taywan for not catching it, but dude, that was a tough catch. You go back and look at it, man. It falling down, it was in his hands, but as soon as you hit the ground, the ball came out. So it was tough. But you got Taywan, who can be the theme guy and go down, stretch the field. But Corey's the guy you want to look at always, the number 5 pick. We keep stressing it. But I thought too, no, you kind of hit a good point. You saw more of Corey Davis on Sunday than than really in any game last season. They looked at him up quite a bit, target wise, even if he didn't catch the ball. But you can't replace a Delaney Walker. It's impossible. Like you said, with him on the field, he gives the Titans another weapon. Without him now, there's a good piece by our guy Big Smo from Music City Miracle saying, will this help Mariota develop to not have to rely on Delaney at all times to go and just instead of thinking about where he's going, just sling the ball, just throw the ball and have confidence in where you're going with it, which I think he's lacked. I don't think – and sometimes I'm still – when Marcus goes somewhere with him, man, I'm like, all right, okay, please get there, because he just makes stupid throws at times, like you saw on Sunday with missing Tajay Sharp in the interception. I mean, there's something like that. Look, Marcus makes those throws sometimes, but other times the ball sails on him like that. And so it's so frustrating that Marcus cannot just be consistent every time. And no quarterback is, I understand that. But when you're in year 4 now,
no time. It's
time to start being the best quarterback you can be. And look,
there's times in the games when you see Marcus, you're like, that guy is ridiculously good.
Incredible.
This laser in there, and then he'll be just fine. And then there's one throw, and it's like, what are you doing? And it's a pick every time. It's a pick, and it's just like it's a backbreaker because. And then you compound the fact with, if you look at last week, they couldn't get into the end zone in the red zone. If you can't get in the end zone, you can't give the ball away too. If you're going to be taking field goals, you better not be giving the ball away on those.
That was something else that hurt was that you had 4 plays inside the 5 with a beautifully play from Stalker. Stalker caught that.
But he underthrew it. Yeah. And Mariota underthrew the ball.
Yeah. Another thing, though, was if he would have led him, the safety might have picked it off. So
that's true.
Of where he was and where he caught it at. But the fact is that you're first and goal on the 5, 6, whatever. You have 4 plays to get in. You couldn't do it. You couldn't give it to Derek. You couldn't pass the ball. That 4th down play to Corey Davis, the flare route, stupid. I didn't agree with that pass one bit. I agree with the call. I love the 4th down call, having the guts to do it because you're on the 2-yard line.
You have to throw it 2 yards.
This is what I struggle with this team, and I struggled with it last time too. Last year, you have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and you have a 250-pound running back. Why is it so hard for this team to get jacked up for one play and go move somebody a yard and barrel forward for a yard? I don't understand why that's so hard.
I saw national analysts tweeting that too. Like, why didn't they just hand the ball to Derek 3 straight times?
You should be able to push back a guy 1 yard, or Derrick Henry should be able to carry a guy 1 yard. And it's not just a one-time thing. It's consistent. It's like put your tank in the game and let him run forward and move somebody. And it just seems like such a struggle to be able to get that done.
And there were times, and I think there's some sort of like hesitancy like doing that because there were some times last year where Derek had a lot of short yardage carries, and there will be times where he doesn't bowl his body over. He doesn't realize that he's 250 pounds for a running back. He turns his back towards the defenders and just tries to inch his way instead of just bowling through there. So there were some times where he just didn't do what he's supposed to do with his body. So I don't know.
So let's talk about this. One, for Sunday, we understand that the Texans they're lethal. They have a lot of weapons on offense and defense. You have Deshaun Watson now. You got DeAndre Hopkins. You have Will Fuller. Lamar Miller has been known to run over the Titans as well. And then you have on the defensive side of the ball, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Woody Merciless, Tyrann Mathieu back there now. So they're just as sneaky good as the Titans are, but they have some holes as well. So give me a matchup that you want to see on Sunday for the Titans to beat the Texans in.
Well, it's got to be the offensive line. And with the injuries, the offensive line has got to slow down at least. I mean, Marcus Mariota is going to have time. If he doesn't have time, it's going to be a long day for me personally. I mean, if it's Kevin Pamphile starting at the left tackle spot, I'm terrified. I'm having flashbacks to that years ago where Zach Mettenberger was just destroyed over and over and over and over again.
Really bad after Lewan left, though, on Sunday.
He played, yes. But now you have J.J. Watt.
I understand.
And Jadeveon Clowney. You know what? And so compound that with it's Josh Klein on the opposite side. And so you have to have both Josh Klein and Kevin Panfield. And we like Josh Klein. I mean, I trust him. But every play you're trusting those two to slow down Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. That's a matchup that they're gonna have to do better than they would be projected to give the Titans a chance to win this game.
I want to see the receivers win their routes because this is year 2 without AJ Boye. They're good. The Texans are good on the inside. They're not as good on the outside as they are on defense. You have Corey Davis, you have Taywan Taylor, you have Rashard Matthews, you have Tajay Sharp. These are receivers that should be winning their routes. I don't care if it's a 50-yard go route, a 10-yard undercut route, a 15-yard slant route. These are guys that when they get to the ball, when the ball gets there, they need to be there. They need to be off their cuts clean, and the throws from Marcus have to be good. This is a game where the Titans might not be able to run for over 100 yards with this defensive line and with a less version of the Titans offensive line. So this is a game where those 15-yard throws across the middle and then maybe one 40-yard go route down the sideline, the Titans have to be there and be on all cylinders at all times of the game.
And for me, it's the defensive line for the Titans. It's Texans O-line. It's not good. You can't try to make any excuse. It's not good. So there shouldn't be a problem for the Titans getting consistent pressure every single down against that Texas offensive line. They don't get any pressure, it's going to be a long day for this defense, and we're going to be looking at 0-2.
I'm going to go with just the pass rush in general for the Titans. To have Harold back, to have a healthier Morgan and Arakpo, it's going to have to be the pass rush.
Look.
Okay, so without one, you can't have the other. If the Titans want to stop DeAndre Hopkins on Sunday and Will Fuller, they're going to have to get to Deshaun Watson fast, not let him run, and you can't give him time to throw the football because if he's back there, he has wheels. So he will take off, and that is something the Titans we don't want to see because we know exactly what Watson can do. We've seen it in college. We saw it last year some. So I'm going to pass rush. Get to him as fast as possible and as many times as possible. I hope Dean Pease has a decent enough game plan. And it's watched what New England did last week because New England made Deshaun Watson look stupid out there.
Yeah,
just silly. Like that was not a good game at all. It wasn't any fun to watch. Anytime, I was just waiting on the big play to happen from Houston all last week. I have the Sunday ticket and I kept flipping back and forth to see what they were doing, and it was boring. Like they finally stepped it up in that fourth quarter to make it interesting. But I would just want to see Dean Pease. I was not impressed with Dean Pease last week, to tell you the truth.
One thing is consistent about Deshaun Watson. If you get pressure to him, he loses his mind. He looks very below average if you get pressure to him. He's not good when the pocket starts collapsing. Outside if he finds a running lane. And then real quick on Dean Pease, we kind of all gave, yeah, okay, that's a good hire.
I'm with you. I know where you're going.
This is still the Dean Pease who played prevent defense against Cincinnati and cost his team a chance to go to the playoffs in the last game of the season. And you consistently saw that last week. You saw the corners playing too far off the receivers, in my opinion. Way too much cushion.
Way too much.
And it was a conservative defense. And then after the first rain delay, they came out and started blitzing. But we need to be doing – why aren't you doing that from the start? I mean, you're sitting there just letting these guys get 10 yards of and that 98-yard drive, that's all the Dolphins did. They just took what the Titans gave them. They marched right down the field, methodically, using that cushion, getting 10 yards of play, and punched it right into the end zone. So that let me put it this way. I'm much less confident in the defensive coordinator than I am the offensive coordinator for these 10.
I think on defense this week, the Titans have to have multiple players because Rashawn, this being his first game, he's not going to play every single snap. But you're going to have multiple linebackers be ready to play some sort of QB spy on Deshaun Watson, whether it's Brian Arakpo, whether it's Derek Morgan, whether it's Rashawn Evans. Those three guys are going to have to be comfortable with playing a spy on Deshaun Watson and then just maybe let Harold Landry come off the edges of the rush. Because Deshaun Watson, the ability that he has to run the ball, we saw in college and we saw it last year. Deshaun's quick, and we know that he can run the ball. So you have to have multiple guys be ready to play a spy on maybe either side of the line of scrimmage because you know what Deshaun Watson can do if he gets pressured.
I think something else we aren't talking about too much is just how fun Deion Lewis was to watch on Sunday.
Yes.
He had that one play that it stuck out to me. It was a dump-off pass right in front. He had two linebackers right behind him, and he had the ball. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you're listening, Deion did a head fake. That's like he was going left and came back right and got the first down. It was beautiful. It's just that kind of back that we signed him for to be elusive, to be sneaky, to get through the holes. And then he was all of that. Even on the touchdown he scored, he got right in. So
yeah. And real quick on that, I got a question for all y'all. Who's the best running back on this football team?
Right now it's Deion Lewis.
After one game, I'm not.
To me, I've seen enough of Derrick Henry / Deion Lewis for me to have the opinion that I think Deion Lewis is a better running back. I don't think Derrick Henry. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't think Derrick Henry realizes he's 250 pounds. I just don't. Now he's talented. I'm not saying he's not a good back at all. I just think it didn't shock me that Deion had a 70% snap share over Derrick Henry, which I think is going to be more balanced as the season goes on, depending on the game script. But it didn't surprise me at all because I also think that Deion Lewis fits into this offensive scheme a little bit better than Derrick does. But that's just something that I think we all need to keep an eye on.
Going back to the offense, and dude, we just talked about Deion. We were talking about Marcus earlier. We're talking about some of the throws that Marcus makes. We saw the throw. I don't remember which year it was when Marcus dropped that dime in there against Indianapolis with the triple coverage.
Last year,
right over the top of him. I think that was probably honestly the best throw of Marcus's career so far. Those throws
to Delaney.
Yes,
yeah.
to Delaney.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Those throws. Now, I'm not saying he's going to make those throws every single time, but those types of throws are ones that he's going to have to make on a more consistent basis because this defense is talented, and we talked about that earlier. So you can't be underthrowing guys this week. You can't be overthrowing guys this week, and especially, this team made the playoffs last year. So if you want to do it again, you have to get better, and this is a good team to do it against too because this is a divisional rival who wiped you away in the first time you played them last year. So you're 0-1 against Deshaun Watson so far because he didn't play the second time because he tore his ACL. So this is a game where you have to come out and fire on all cylinders if you want to step up and beat a guy who a lot of people consider one of the elite quarterbacks in Deshaun Watson.
And something else about this game, you talk about how important this game is a little bit. The Jaguars have New England this week before next week the Titans go there. I think we all agree that New England's probably going to win that game. This tie, if you beat the Texans, you tie the Jacksonville for the division lead. And I know it's early, but these games matter when you talk about late in the season.
Well, division lead is what kept the Titans out of the playoffs 2 years ago.
Exactly. And so you beat Houston this week, and then you play Jacksonville next week. And that's a game where you also need to win because you got to keep that division record up. But if you lose this week, there's no momentum going into that game against Jacksonville. So this is a really important game for the Titans to get it done.
Going back real quick, and we'll move forward from this. Marcus is already 0 for 2 on the season with touchdowns to picks. We talked about it. He could rack up fast if he does not be careful because we don't want to see that again where he has more interceptions and touchdowns like a year ago. So 0-2 is not a hot start, but you have plenty of football to make up for that. So if you see him go 2-0, 3-0 this week, then the odds are back in your favor. So that's just something else I'm going to talk about because I hate watching Marcus throw picks.
And the problem I have with Marcus, not problem, I shouldn't say, but like 2 years ago, I would defend Marcus to the death. Now when like Colin Cowherd this week says maybe he's not that good, what comeback do I have for that at this point? We can't say anything. He's just got to prove it at some point. Like this, is this the week you're finally going to prove it that we were right for the last 3 years to, stump for you consistently? Or are you just going to prove the haters right? Because right now, that week 1 game, he proved all the haters right. And there's not much comeback you can have for that, for what happened.
All right, so let's do 2 things real quick. We're going to do our bold predictions really fast. And then we'll do something new we're going to introduce and see how long it lasts, honestly. We'll kind of get to that here in a second. So bold predictions this week for the Titans. I'm going to go that Marcus Mariota, if he plays, and I think he does play, 3 total touchdowns. Now maybe rushing, passing, whatever it may be, but he has 3 total touchdowns this week. And that's
if Marcus doesn't play this week, this is a whole different ballgame.
Oh yeah,
but I think he does play. We haven't talked about that because I don't think it's that big of an issue. Lane is taking first team snaps. That's just because I'm not worried about that. So Marcus has 3 total touchdowns.
I'm going to go – the Titans have 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 from Marcus, 1 from Derek, and 1 from Deion.
Around the horn.
I'll say Corey Davis gets his first 100-yard game, and Marcus goes for 350 passing yards or over.
Sound like me last week, man. I was wrong. Don't do that.
I just want to see Corey Davis finally score at home.
Like the gold balls, man. You gotta go for it.
I'm going to go the mayor of Murfreesboro continues to outsmart the kid from Clemson, Kevin Byard, 2 interceptions. That's my bold prediction.
I like that. I like it. All right, so we're introducing something new. We call it the lock of the week. And not only are we Titans fans, we're big NFL fans, and I kind of like to implement some NFL talk in here as well. So, lock of the week, one team from around the league. It can be the Titans if you want it to be, guys, but it doesn't have to be. So, I'm going to go the lock of the week. The team I'm most confident in to win this week in the NFL. Let's do this to us. Let's kind of have a if you're wrong, then you're out the rest of the year. So you have to be right. So if if you lose, then you're done for the rest of the year. You can't do it anymore.
Can we pick the same team? Right? I mean,
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Sure. Yeah. But if we all lose, then we all lose together.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it pre-show. What we have an idea. We didn't say it, but we have an idea of who we're going to pick. So I'll start and just see if we all have the same one. So this team lost by 40 points.
Yes.
This team lost by 40 points last week. And if you know what I'm talking about, the Buffalo Bills lost 40-0 to the Baltimore Ravens. They played the Chargers again, which the Chargers, they're not a fluke. They had a really good game last week against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs may just be a step better than them. They have a lot more weapons on offense than the Chargers do. But I'm going this week, my lock of the week, Chargers go beat the Bills. Maybe not by 40, but at least 17.
I saw a tweet that said that the Bills are the worst team like in the 2000s, and I'm like, maybe so. They're bad. They're really bad.
I don't understand why. This is why head coaches get fired so fast. Because you go and start Nathan Peterman week 1. You trade A.J. McCarron. There's 2 strikes right there. You trade
Tyrod.
You start Nathan Peterman when you have your first-round shiny new toy as your backup, and then your starting quarterback loses by 40, and then you're like, you know what? That was our mistake. Josh Allen, hey, buddy, you're fine. Let's start you week 2. That is all the recipe for Sean McDermott to get fired. So
with no receivers.
None. I mean, it's a bad team. I understand that, but there's no reason for you to start Nathan Peterman at all. I don't know. Brandon Haggerty from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville was just going on a rant about how much he hated Nathan Peterman and his play and whatnot. So I'm with him.
Starting Nathan Peterman would be like starting Zach Mettenberger over Marcus Mariota when he drafted Marcus Mariota. Like, that's honestly the same thing. Why would you do that? Like, it just makes no sense.
So, all right, Chargers are my lock of the week. Brett, where are you going?
I'm going out west this week. I'm going to a team that did not look very well last week in the Arizona Cardinals and Sam Bradford, who also didn't play very well. They got ran all over by Adrian Peterson. And I'm going with my pick out of the NFC to win the NFC this year, Rams over the Arizona Cardinals.
I like it.
It's a good pick.
Noah?
Oh, it's the Chargers. The Bills are awful.
Trey?
Well, I have a soft spot for this team because I feel so bad for their fans and what they've suffered through for so many years. So my lock of the week is going to be the Browns.
Oh, God.
In New Orleans. Hugh Jackson's going to get
I like it.
All right, so Trey's out of the picks next week.
Those fridges of beer in Cleveland are going to be open, and Cleveland's going to have a good day. So I have the Browns over the Saints in New Orleans.
You understand that the Saints just put up 432 passing yards last week, right? Drew Brees.
But you do understand they just let up over 50 points to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Fine.
Yeah,
I got the Browns.
Wow.
Yeah, you're the lock. I'm okay with picking them. Okay, I'm not entirely against, especially against the spread on mybookie.com.
That's your lock.
But
like, you think that is the team that's winning this week is the Browns.
Yes, Browns are winning this week.
Wow. Y'all heard it here, folks. Y'all can follow and make fun of Trey. What's your Twitter handle, Trey? At TJ.
My Twitter handle is at TJ, all capital letters, _092. And I'm gonna give a score. I'm gonna get a score. Browns are gonna win 42-35.
What?
All touchdowns. All touchdowns.
No the last time the Browns.
Can we talk about the Titans? Can we do the Titans today?
My gosh.
What?
We appreciate you guys listening as always. We'll be back next week with another recap of the Texans game and preview the Jags game. Hopefully, this next recap goes better than last week's recap. So, as always, from Brett, Noah, Trey, I'm Austin. Follow us on Twitter at Armchair Tighten Up, and we'll see you guys next week. Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.